So welcome along to A Story to Tell with me, Richard Beauvoisin. This is mainly taken from my Radio Bath show every Thursday morning from 10 until 12. If you do like it, don't forget to subscribe, share it to others, and let everyone know all about Radio Bath. Hope you enjoy it. Morning, everybody. So there is Breaking the Circle, Sophie Ellis-Bextor. It's Richard Beauvoisin here right until midday today. On A Story to Tell today, I've got the lovely Sarah Wheadon sat opposite me, smiling, pooping her pants is what she's told me. But there we go. We're going to talk all about her being a celebrant. Now, if you've no idea what a celebrant is, and I'll be honest with you, when she told me that's what she was, I went, sure, I know what a celebrant is, and I had to go and look it up. We're going to find out all about what she is as a celebrant, okay? If you have any questions, it's email studio@radiobath.com, or you can text Bath followed by a message to 80011.
And my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination.
We're both singing along here. There's What's Up and Four Non-Blondes. Good morning, it's Richard Beauvoisin here right until midday today. My guest on A Story to Tell is the lovely Sarah Wheadon. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning.
And how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Terrified, but
terrified. Why are you terrified?
Well, this is just quite intimidating, isn't it? It's a proper setup.
I know, it's almost like a professional studio and everything.
It is.
I know, it scared me. First time when I was here, I literally, they left me alone, and I was sat here going, I'm in charge of the radio station right now. Who's let me do that?
Yes.
And it was really quite bizarre, but I've kind of got used to it, I suppose, over the years.
You totally are comfortable there, that's for sure.
Do I look comfortable?
You do.
It's almost like I've done it for a long time, so I feel very comfortable doing it. Anyway, who is Sarah Wheadon? First of all, I'm going to go straight down the line, okay? So for those that are listening that are in the world of dance, of which I know there are many of them, you are Dot's daughter.
I am Dot's daughter.
You are Dot's daughter, so Sarah Wheadon, Dot Wheadon. And I'm going to start off the interview, which you don't know at this bit, with a little message from your mum.
Oh, are you going to make me cry?
I might too. So I messaged your mum saying, it's not often you get to say something public about your child or anything like that. So I'm going to read out the message. I'm going to try and not cry as well. Okay, I've read this once.
Oh, no, don't, because are you really going to make me cry?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to make you cry or not. Let's find out. Right, so this is from your mum. Okay, so she said, when Sarah told me she was giving up her job to become a celebrant, I knew in my heart that she would be brilliant at it, and it was the right job for her. I also know that she was terrified, but my brave, smart, tenacious daughter felt fear and did it anyway. There are no words to describe... I'm going myself. There are no words to describe how proud I am of you. You are 100% braver than I ever was. Hang on, I've got to get this bit right. Gan yourself, baby bear, which translates to go for it, I believe.
Yeah.
Love you, mum. Oh, how nice is that?
That's really sweet. That's not what she said to me when I first told her I was going to do it. She was like, are you mad?
Yeah. And is that how you felt?
Mad. No, I was quite excited.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really sweet message, Mum.
Yeah, we're both slightly tearing up here, which you can't see on radio, but I can manage to keep it together just about. Well, I nearly went halfway through, if I'm honest with you.
My mum doesn't normally do soppy stuff.
No,
so.
I know. I've known her a long time. Yeah. I've known her a couple of decades now, which is quite scary.
Mum.
Yeah, she is one of the most favourite people of most people in the dance world. We've just had the Big Bath Bash, which we had 400 people at.
Yeah.
And she did the catering for it. She baked for 4 days solid and on the day, all day. And yeah, it's incredible. We've both said that we're both going to retire at the same time, which means that she's got to work until she's 100. I ain't nowhere near retiring just yet. There we go. Anyway, I'm going to ask you very quickly. We're going to talk about you being a celebrant in a minute.
Yeah. And
people will still be going, what's a celebrant? Which we're going to discuss shortly. But kind of, how did you get to where you are now?
I think, in all honesty, through a whole heap of opportunities. So I started out as a waitress in a cocktail bar. No, I didn't. I was a waitress.
What song is that? Is that Pulp? Life for Common People. I think it is. I want to see now. You carry on. I'm going to do some research over here. I am listening. I
started working in hospitality. I think that's probably where I got the skill set, I think, or honed the skill set of people. And then I decided that I didn't like the usual hours that you had to work in hospitality. So I went on then to do some qualifications in administration.
Okay.
And then I started working as an administrator in a variety of different places, and then ended up in a further education college, where I had the opportunity to then do things like become a lecturer. I was training people who were long-term unemployed, trying to get them back into work. And then I moved into learning and development and started designing and delivering training.
Okay.
And my last job was in engagement. So it was my role to design and deliver feedback from colleagues in the organisation telling us what it was like to work there, and I was to try and come up with ways in which we could try and engage people within the organisation and build that culture of engagement.
Are you aware that's what my lovely wife does as well?
No, is it?
She's an L&D manager, yeah.
Is she?
She is, yeah.
I didn't know that.
I always call them, I've realised this, because I listen back for educational purposes every single show that I do. On the podcast, anybody wants to listen back, quick advert, then type in Radio Bath to any podcast provider and you can pick up any show that I've done over the last couple of years, including the one of your mum. And I've realised that I always call her my lovely wife. Every single time. I very rarely say her name, just always my lovely wife. Her name's Zoe, by the way, for those that aren't aware. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, she does the same job.
Oh, I didn't realise that.
Appetito, intro Vegas. So, yeah, there you go.
Well, that's something else we can have in common chat-wise then.
You can have another chat with her about that. Indeed so. Okay, so you did that, and then you thought about being Celebrant.
Well, so the probably about a year ago, just over a year ago, I was having a conversation with one of my colleagues, so the lovely Jo.
Now, this is Jo Ruston, who, again, has been on the radio show.
She
It was
has.
about 2 or 3 months ago, wasn't it? And she helps people change careers,
She
effectively.
does.
And she was very complimentary of you. And she said, whatever happens, get Sarah in to tell her story. I was like, all right, let's do it. And you're here.
And she's part of my story, and I will be forever grateful, I have to tell you that.
So how did Jo help you then?
So Jo and I started working together when she started in the organisation that I was at, and I volunteered to be Jo's induction buddy. And we hit it off, and we had some really great conversations. And about just over a year ago, I was saying to her, I feel like I want to do something else. I feel like I've kind of lost my way in terms of what makes me tick. And she, without me realising it, started to kind of coach me through what does that look like? What are you thinking? And it was actually her that suggested becoming a celebrant.
Okay.
And when I was like, you get a job as a celebrant? What?
We will shortly explain what a celebrant
will.
is. We're going to literally hold it out as long as we can.
So I did some research and I was like, OMG, this, if there ever is a job that was written specifically for me, this is it. So I did a bit of research, and then I discovered that you had to be self-employed to do the job, and I thought,
Great noise, by the way.
I am risk averse, me. I've never ever wanted to run my own business. I don't think I can do that. So I kind of put it on the back burner.
Okay.
But then I started to talk more to Jo, and it kept like coming back to me, and I was thinking, maybe I could do this, you know. So Jo and I had lots and lots of conversations, and she basically coached me through that whole process to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm going to try it. What's the worst that can happen?
And what is the worst that can happen?
I have to move back in with my mum because I can't afford to pay my mortgage.
Blimey. I had the pleasure of seeing your mum last night. So your mum does incredible things for me, okay, in regarding helping, and I love her to bits. I really do. I love her like a son, really, I suppose, probably the best way of describing it. We're the same age, so I think
she could be your mum.
She could be my mum.
Yeah. Let me tell you, if you were, you'd be her favourite.
We did that joke last night, didn't we? Saying that you're not her favourite and you're a single child, which I know you're not, but there we go. But a terrible joke. But yeah, I dropped some flowers off to her, which she didn't know, and she sent a message. I think it was to yourself, wasn't it? That she was devastated because she was in her pyjamas. And I dropped off the flowers at 7:15 in the evening. She was already in her PJs.
Oh heck, that's the first thing you do.
Is it?
Yeah. You go home, you get everything off, you put your comfies on.
Wow.
If you knock on my door after I'm in, you take what you get when I open it.
Wowzers. There are certain images that, maybe shouldn't be made public.
You're welcome.
I've just managed to unplug my headphones laughing so loudly. I can't hear anything right now. Oh, no, they've still gone. You keep talking for a moment, Sarah.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. I'm back. Lovely. I've got the wire and I was laughing and I just threw my hand down and unplugged my headphones. Right, now, we haven't discussed what is a celebrant. So in very brief terms, tell me, what is a celebrant?
So a celebrant is someone who can officiate even ceremonies for all kinds of life events.
Okay.
So I can officiate a funeral service, weddings, vow renewals, life celebrations, naming ceremonies, anything like that. So I have the opportunity to be able to meet with people, talk to them about the kind of ceremony or service or celebration that they want, and then I work with them to craft content for that and then deliver it on the day for them.
Brilliant. Now, we're going to discuss it in greater detail over the next couple of hours. But if anybody wanted to find out who you are, I'm guessing you've got a website.
I do.
Oh, tell me about the website.
Oh, right then. Well, it's Sarah Wheadon.
So, for those that are in England, okay, that was Sarah rather than Sarah. Sarah, you are Scottish and I love you for it. But carry on.
Sorry, it's Sarah.
Sarah. With an H.
With an H. Wheadon. Celebrant.com.
Love the fact that you were like thinking, is it .co.uk, .com? Where are we going with all of that? Who knows? Well, we're going to be back with Sarah very shortly. Now, we did mention that track, and I think it's this one. I think. Okay, so this is Common People by Pulp. We spoke about being a waitress.
Yes.
Let's see.
She came from Greece, she had the thirst for
It's not yet.
She studied
Are you
sculpture
sure?
at St.
We'll find
Martin's
out.
College, that's where
I'm sure he does say about waitress in a minute. It's really bugging me now. We're just going to keep listening and talking.
She told me that the tap was loaded.
Back with part two then with Sarah Wheadon. She's my guest today on A Story to Tell. She is a celebrant. And we're going to discuss a little bit more now what is actually a celebrant and what are the different things that you do. So first question for you I've got is, are you a priest or a minister or a registrar? What are you? What is the difference?
I'm a civil celebrant, so that means that I am able to deliver a unique and personalised ceremony to people. So unlike a minister or a priest, I am not able to formally marry anybody.
So it's not legal or anything?
It's not a legal ceremony, no. It's all... the legal part of it all has to happen. If you get married, for example, the legal part of it has to happen at a registry office or at a location where you are legally allowed to be married.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, what they like to do is go to the registry office, do the legal part, and then their wedding as they see it is the ceremony where they invite everybody along and we do the vows and take them through the process of getting married. But it's not a formal element.
Okay, so in some ways you're like an MC, I suppose.
Yes, a bit like that. Yeah. It's about their story. In any ceremony that we do, actually, as civil celebrants, it's about the people's story. You want to know all about them, how their life has gone, whether that's a funeral, whether it's a celebratory ceremony. You want to know about that person and their lives, or the couple in their lives. It's a really, really brilliant job.
Okay. Now, I've had a message from Rose. Love Rose to bits. Okay, she says, listening and laughing along with you both. Great double act. I would never know that Sarah was nervous. She's a natural and a great role model.
Aww.
You're getting messages all over the place today.
Oh, thanks.
Nobody ever says anything nice about me. I tell you, they're just...
Oh, they're always talking about how good you are. Like,
your mother says you're wonderful. Rose says you're great.
oh, come on, my mum has to say I'm wonderful.
That's true, yeah. That is true. So what did you have to do to become a celebrant then?
So technically, you don't actually have to be qualified to be a celebrant.
Right. It's a bit like being a life coach. You don't have to have any qualifications to be a life coach.
No.
Just all of a sudden turn around and go, I'm a life coach.
Yes, and some people are really good at it. Joe Preston. So I wanted
Sorry, hang on. Who's Joe Preston?
Joe is the the lady that you came to have.
Joe Ruston.
Ruston. Preston.
I know a Joe Preston. That's the weird part about it. So I was thinking, right, is there another Joe Preston?
Joe Preston's a dancer.
He is a dancer. Yeah, I was like, wow, what's Joe got to do with this?
No, Joe Ruston.
Joe Ruston, right,
my
okay.
My friend.
Okay, right, I'm on that now.
Perimenopause.
That's okay. Right, so so Joe Ruston's to blame. Right, sorry, carry on.
Yes, Joe Ruston's to blame. So I've forgotten your question already.
That's all right. How did you become a celebrant? What did you have to do?
Yes, so I'm taking the role really seriously. So I decided to go and train. Am I allowed to say who I trained with?
Yes, you can. Of course you can.
So I trained with the International School of Professional Celebrants, and they are have been absolutely fabulous, actually. And the opportunity that you have going with them was that I could do a face-to-face session. I did a week-long intensive training session with them. Met some fabulous people, and we're all still friends now. And I am also working on a qualification at the minute, so I'm doing a level 3 in civil celebrants, and loving it. Okay. So I'm taking it really seriously. Lots of CPD activity to develop my skills and hone. And how long have you been doing it now then? So I started in September last year. And have given up my job in December, and I'm now a full-time celebrant as of the 1st of January. And how did you feel giving up your job and become a full-time celebrant? It was mixed emotions, I have to say. I went part-time in September for 3 months to support the rollout of something I was doing project-wise. And that's kind of given me a bit of a roll into now you can build up your business, and then as of January you're full-time, but it's terrifying. Why is it terrifying? Because I've been running my own business for a long, long time, and I was having a chat with somebody the other day, and they said, why don't you just get a paid job? And I went, I'm not getting a paid job. I cannot think of anything worse in my entire life than having somebody else telling me what I can and can't do. I've been my own boss for over 2 decades. I ain't doing that again. Yeah, I don't imagine you being quite taking to that whole you being told what to do piece. Not so much, no. I like to be in control. That surprised me, that. Yeah. Although, obviously at the radio station, I am one of many, many presenters, and I'm very happy in that role. I wouldn't want to run this radio station because I think they do an incredible job, and it's a very hard job to run this radio station. So I'm happy to also be a servant in that regards. But yeah, normal job, no. Yeah. Well, see, I've always worked for other people. I've never, ever worked on my own or for myself. I never, as I said before, wanted to run my own business. I like the security of having a monthly wage come in, thank you very much. And now that's not the case. No. So kind of thinking about what you do on a day-to-day basis then, because... I'm almost going to say, do you almost celebrate when somebody dies? That sounds a terrible thing to say. But it's like, next job. It's a really weird thing to say. And the good thing is I haven't said it live on radio. But what does a day in the life look like for you then? So, because I'm guessing every day will just be completely and utterly different. Yeah. Well, I think with any business that you're running yourself, you have a variety of different things. So I could be the accountant in the morning. I could be working on some WhatsApp message to go out, or some kind of social media content. Marketing side of it. Yeah. But the biggest thing for me, and the bit that I absolutely love, is the meeting with people. Okay. So normally, in terms of funeral services, those normally come through a funeral director. And then I would contact the family and then organise to go and speak to them. And it's a really sad situation that they're in. But I go along, I find out about the person. I want to work with them to create a ceremony that is really talking about that person, celebrating that person's life. And that we've got music and poems. And do you know what? It's really lovely. I think back to it was my auntie that sadly passed away a number of years ago, and my mum was sat next to me in the funeral, and it was a religious ceremony, and the chap that was talking, he was saying a variety of bits and pieces, and my mum was sat next to me going, no, she didn't. That's just wrong.
And she got really frustrated at that point that obviously the research they'd done was minimal. But it sounds like, we've known each other not that long, really, just a relatively short period of time. But the first time I met you, I just thought you're an amazing person. And that was kind of that instant feeling that I got from you. And I'm guessing that when you go around to see these people in these sad situations, they kind of have that same experience. And I feel like you would do an amazing job, not advertising for you here, but I do feel like you would do an amazing job of actually taking care of somebody.
I take it, as I said before, I take my job really seriously. So for me, it's the absolute privilege of being able to connect with people and take them through the process and make it as meaningful but as pleasant an experience as you can possibly get for something that is so sad. And the feedback that I get from the families that I work with is very much you come in as a stranger, but it feels like you leave as part of the family.
Okay.
And that is a testament that really means a lot to me.
Yeah. How do you deal with them? Because I have a number of events, big events that I run each year. The one that I feel the most pressure on is New Year's Eve. And the reason for that is that you get to midnight, you've got one shot, as Eminem would say. You've got one shot of getting it right. You can't repeat it and go, sorry guys, I pressed the wrong button. And again, on a wedding or a funeral or something, you get one shot at doing this. How do you feel about the pressure of doing it?
There's a lot of prep goes into it beforehand. So there's a lot of conversations, a lot of discussions, a lot of note taking. I go away and craft the ceremony that people want, but they get the opportunity to have a look at that before we actually go live. So we're doing it together. It's about them, their story, or the individuals that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So I don't ever just rock up on the day and go, surprise, this is what I'm going to say. You're welcome.
Do you sing at the ceremonies as well?
No.
Do you not?
No.
It sounded nice, if I'm honest with you. But
I don't know. In my head, I sound like Beyonce, but the reality is a wee bit different.
Well, the good thing is that I expect you to listen back to this podcast as it gets released at some point later on today, and you'll have the pleasure of hearing how you sound singing over a microphone. On that note, time for a bit more music. You've chosen this next track as well, so you've gone Whitesnake. Why Whitesnake?
I am a rock chick. I don't know what that signal is.
So for benefit of the tape, okay, so normally if you're doing rock hands, what you do is you hold your middle two fingers down, you stick your thumb out, and you have your first finger and little finger, and it kind of makes the shape, I don't know, Where's Wally type thing. So it's like a W shape, really. What Sarah just did then is held her little finger down, tucked her thumb in, and stuck three fingers up in the air. I'm not really sure what that's going to do with anything, but yeah. Anyway, time for Whitesnake. Here I go again. Back with Sarah shortly. It's Richard Beauvoisin here right until midday today. Time for the next section with the lovely Sarah Wheadon. She is a celebrant. We're going to delve deeper into it. Just had a message from Teresa just come in, just to let you know. It says, hi Richard, I'm listening to your show today and I'm loving the giggles between you and Sarah. Aww. I knew the first time I met Sarah at Ciroc that she was lovely, just like a wonderful mum, Dot. Aww. Again, that's somebody saying something nice about you, nothing about me. I'm feeling so left out in all of this.
It's not about you.
Is it not? I was thinking it was. It's my show.
It's your show, but I'm here.
Oh, so you mean that this interview's about you?
Yeah.
Why didn't I pick that up? Oh, right.
You're welcome.
That's okay. Now we're going to talk about the different roles that you have being a celebrant. Okay, I'm going to just read them out, and I want you to explain what each one is, because some of them, I'll be honest with you, I had no idea what it meant. So, what is a naming ceremony?
So, a naming ceremony is where you might not want to go down the formal route of a christening, but you still want to do something to recognise the name of someone. It doesn't have to be a child. It could be someone who is maybe transitioning and changing names that way. So you are looking at perhaps having some music that's meaningful for you as a family, a bit of information about the story of the individual whose name we are celebrating. And the reason that name has been chosen. You might choose some guide parents that you want to have them commit to follow in that journey through with that person, and then as a party afterwards, basically.
Okay. I mean, I like this because I'm not a religious person. I was brought up in a Catholic family. Realised fairly early on it wasn't for me, and I've no problem about anybody that does anything. But for me personally, it wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I don't have any godparents to my children at all. But I suppose, did you use the word guide parents? Guide parents.
Yeah, it's a beautiful term.
A bit like a guide dog, really.
Well, it's similar.
Helping
Different
them along.
treats.
Yeah, the closest I've got is naming certain people in our will. That's as close I've got to having godparents for my children.
Well, it's a start.
It is a start. 3 of them are grown up now. So, but yeah, a bit like you, your mum still looks after you, no doubt.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there we go.
She's been really good, actually, at baking cakes for me to take to try and schmooze some funeral directors.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
What's been the favourite cake of a funeral director?
Lemon drizzle.
Do you know, it's a lot of people's favourite cake.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to announce this live on the radio. I don't like cake.
What?
I know. It's really weird, isn't it?
Who are you?
Well, do you know, for me, so I've always struggled with my weight a little bit, okay? And I love savoury stuff, but a cake for me, I don't like the texture, the taste, or I kind of look at the calories and go, it's kind of not worth it. So I don't eat cake.
We can't be friends.
Can we not?
No.
Oh, okay. I like some things that are sweet, like ice cream. I like ice cream.
Okay.
Is that okay?
No.
No? But
No.
cake.
That's
Yeah.
just pure
And
weird.
I feel really bad. So people say to me, oh, you must love Dot's cakes. And I'm like, sure.
I love that you love Dot's cakes.
Absolutely. It's all about you guys. Anyway, funerals and eulogies.
Yes.
Okay, so again, is this in a non-religious or do you do religious side of it? Where's that?
So the beauty of having a celebrant is the fact that you can encompass elements of religion or culture as you are as a family. So you have the opportunity to be able to include elements. As a civil celebrant, I'm able to incorporate those elements that are meaningful for individuals, for couples. So it's a really nice opportunity to be able to bring all sorts of elements together. But the funeral eulogy side of things is probably one of the biggest privileges for me as a celebrant, because it's all of my services are very much about the celebration of someone's life.
Okay.
It's sad, yes, absolutely, but it's also about the great stuff that they've done or accomplished, the families, what the essence of them were, and the honest truth about who somebody is.
Okay.
You know, we all have our interesting parts.
Are you saying we're not all perfect?
No, it's
Really?
amazing.
Wow.
I mean, obviously you and I are perfect.
Obviously. It goes without saying. Now, I've got a booking for you.
You've got a booking.
I've got a booking for you, yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, me. Okay, so as and when I might move on from this earth, I'd love you to do my ceremony.
Wow, that's
And the reason for that is I don't want it to be a sad affair. I don't want any black at my ceremony at all. I'm not a religious person, as I said.
Yeah.
I want it to be a celebration of all the different things that I've done throughout my life and colour and all of that type of stuff. So I'm telling you now, just in case I leave here and get hit by a bus.
Right.
Okay, so you're booked.
I might orchestrate that.
You're booked, but you're free.
Now, hang on a minute.
Just cost-wise, I'm guessing it doesn't cost thousands of pounds for your services.
No, it doesn't. It varies dependent on what ceremony or service it is that you're looking to do. But it's not thousands of pounds, no.
But equally not free.
Equally not free.
Brilliant. Okay. Now, I've just had a message in from Richard Chandler, who's, again, a regular listener. And he just said, Richard, you're doing a wonderfully professional job, just so you don't feel left out.
What about me?
Well, he doesn't mention you at all. Right, so that's funerals, eulogies, naming ceremonies, weddings and vow renewals, another part.
So exciting. So I actually met with my first couple of the year on Monday to have a chat with them about their wedding ceremony. They're getting married in June. So exciting. We were chatting about what it is that they want the ceremony to look like, and what's the vibe they wanted for the ceremony. They're going quite intimate, so not a huge amount of people going to be attending, but for them it's all about the union of the three of them as a family. So it's mum, dad and daughter.
Okay, I thought you were going to say a dog then, but...
No, they do have a dog though,
Okay.
and a cat. It was great. I had a great time.
Lovely.
So it's so exciting because it is again about their story of how they met, what's important in their lives, what vibe they want. They want to go quite relaxed, but everybody's wedding is completely different. And the beauty of having a celebrant is, as I said before, we can't marry people legally yet, but we can tailor the content to the ceremony as they wish.
Yeah.
So it's so exciting to do a wedding. I love it. Vow renewals I really love as well, because that's people reaffirming their love for each other.
My grandparents did it every year.
Did they?
They went to their local church because they were the religious side of the family, and every single year they renewed their vows in front of the whole family. The whole family had to be there. They had 11 children. That's
Wow.
Catholic. Obviously no protection required. And yeah, or they didn't have TV. So yeah, but everybody had to go along every single year and watch them renew their vows. But it was lovely. You literally saw them look into each other's eyes and all of that, and and they did it right until their deaths in their mid-80s. So it was a beautiful thing to watch. It really was. Yeah. Okay, now the last one that I've got here is living funerals.
Yes.
And I'll be honest, I looked at that and thought, if you're either dead or you're alive, and what's a living funeral, Sarah Wheadon, Celebrant?
Right, so living funerals are becoming more and more popular. It's a celebration of someone's life whilst they are still here.
Okay.
So it might be that you are somebody who has sadly had a terminal diagnosis, for example, and you might decide that actually what you want to do is celebrate your life with your loved ones as an event whilst you're here, and you can talk to people and have a big it's basically a big party.
Yeah.
But instead of it all happening when you've gone, everybody is invited and you are there as the guest of honour.
That just sounds like a lovely thing to do. Yeah. How have those experiences been for you doing that?
I haven't actually run one yet.
Okay.
No, I am funerals, weddings, vow renewals and things like that I've done at the moment, but the movement towards the celebration of life pieces is getting more and more it's revving up a bit.
I was going to say, I'm guessing not that many people know about it.
No, and it's, when you're talking about something like passing away or terminal diagnoses, or, you're at that point in life where you think, I'm potentially not got long left.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to really talk about that kind of thing because it's stigma, it's sadness, but actually what I've discovered in doing this job is that the difficulty of the families trying to create someone's service for them and just guessing is really stressful for everybody. So the opportunity to be prepared in preparation for something like that is actually, I think, an amazing thing to be able to do.
And I'm guessing it must help people say goodbye.
Yes. Yep. I don't know, there was a lady who did a living funeral who was a friend of Dawn French, and she Dawn French dressed up as the Vicar of Dibley and went along to the ceremony and was the Vicar of Dibley for her and did her service for her.
Okay.
So things like that are starting to become more and more known and widestream.
Yeah. That sounds like an amazing thing. When you said about Dawn French, I was like, has Dawn French died? But I then listened to actually what you were saying, which is always a helpful thing. Now, funerals are often quite sad things.
Yeah.
And quite often, if you're stood there up at the front. Now, we had a little message at the very beginning, or I gave you a little message from your mum, and we both teared up a little bit because it kind of gets you and all of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
How do you kind of handle the emotional side of it when people around you are crying, and rightly so, and you've kind of got to carry on with the show?
I think for me, I kind of I am a very emotional person. Like, I can cry at the drop of a hat. So for me, I have to kind of just elevate myself just above that point where it's not about me, it's not about my feelings, it's about the family, and I'm there for them.
Yeah.
So it's about supporting them throughout that thing. And I think that's the kind of thing that just keeps me in check. I'm not going to lie, sometimes I've got into the car afterwards and had a bit of a cry about the service that I've just done, because it's been so lovely and the feedback from the family has been that's exactly what we wanted.
Yeah.
So there is emotion there. I don't know, I managed to keep it in check.
you keep the professional side of you going.
I try.
Which is all good. Sarah's here right until midday today. Any questions for her? studio@radiobath.com, or you can text Bath, followed by a message to 80011.
You'll always be my number one. A whole lot more than good enough. I'm giving everything I've got to gain every second lost. 6 years just ain't enough. With you I'm happy being me. Don't pretend 'cause I don't need to. I'm 1,000 miles from home, never on my own. When you whisper down the phone, well, I guess we never saw this coming. Halfway around the world calling, but I just want you to know. Don't fall asleep 'cause I miss you, babe, and I don't wanna miss a thing. 'Cause even when I dream of you, the sweetest dream.
Do you know what? Sometimes it's really sad. This is radio. I think at some point, Sarah, we're getting a webcam in here, and when we do that, it's going to be hilarious. It really is. When people like yourself, who are definitely, I'm going to use this phrase, and I say it in a really positive way, a character. Okay, but that's an incredibly positive thing. Somebody said to me recently, "You're not normal." I went, "I'd hate to be normal." I really would.
Are you fair and I'm not normal?
I am saying that you're not normal. Yeah. I'm saying you are special and a character. But I say them all in a lovely way. Anyway, it's Richard Beauvoisin here right until midday. I'm here with Sarah Wheadon today, who is a celebrant. We're going to be talking all about celebrant stuff for the next hour or so, as well as, of course, a quick fire round. We all wonder, what is Sarah's favourite ice cream? It's the only question that you ever get access to, unless you've listened to the show before, which you haven't. But during that song, you were doing your rock face and you're singing along again, and nobody got to see it.
No, it's probably
except me.
And
welcome. I enjoyed it.
You're welcome again.
That's okay. It's very nice. Now, being a celebrant, we've discussed that you are special and a character, and lovely at the same time, of course. But proper question now.
Ooh.
What qualities are required to be a celebrant then?
I think definitely a people person. You've absolutely got to be able to connect with people and to connect with them really quickly, because you don't have an awful lot of time sometimes in order to be able to create ceremonies that people want to do. I think you have to be comfortable in terms of that standing up and talking piece, because that's a major part of your job.
Yeah.
I think you've got to be very organised. I don't think, actually, I know you've got to be very organised, because you could be juggling several different ceremonies at any one time.
Do you have the scenario sometimes of like going from a funeral to a wedding in the same day, for instance?
Not in the same day.
Not in the same day?
No.
Because that would be quite, we're all very sad. We're all very happy.
Yeah, but the thing is, it is all very happy.
Okay.
You know, no matter what it's just varying degrees of happiness.
Okay.
So yeah, I can let loose and be really me when it comes to something like a wedding or a vow renewal or a naming ceremony. I've just got to keep it a wee bit more sort of subdued for a funeral service, but ultimately that personality still shows through.
Well, there are some people, sorry to interrupt you, there are some people, I've said this phrase many times before, that when they walk into a room, they take the light out of it, and other people bring life and light to that room. And you're definitely in the second half of that.
Oh, thank goodness.
I know. Just very quickly, for those that are just tuning in, remind everybody what is a celebrant?
So a celebrant is someone who can officiate a number of different celebrations, whether that be someone's life, whether that be a wedding, a funeral, a naming ceremony, or living funeral,
which
yes.
is where they're kind of end of life, but quite close to the end, and then they can still kind of have a funeral which they attend.
Yes.
Which is a lovely, really thought.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if anybody wanted to get into being a celebrant, kind of, how do they do it?
Well, my advice would be do a bit of research to understand exactly what the role is. I said to you earlier that there is no need to have a qualification, but I would really recommend that you do at least do some kind of training. And there's a variety of different places out there that do training to become a celebrant.
Okay.
There are different kinds of celebrants. So I'm a civil celebrant, but you do have humanist celebrants
what is the difference between a humanist celebrant and a civil celebrant?
So a human celebrant is someone who tends not to use any kind of religion within the ceremonies that they do. So they don't believe that there is anything other than themselves, us as an entity. So they wouldn't include any kind of religious elements in a ceremony. A civil celebrant, however, is happy to incorporate culture, religion, to make a service meaningful to the people that it's relevant to.
And slightly personal question, I suppose, but regarding your own religious stance, which we've never discussed, so I don't know the answer to this, kind of, if somebody had a different religion than if you were religious, how would you feel about that then?
So I don't have any religious connection at all.
Okay.
For me, I think that everybody is entitled to believe what they believe, and if I can help and support in incorporating that into services, I'm more than happy to do that.
Okay. Now, we've discussed that it's quite an unusual job, first of all, to be a celebrant, and that most people, like Gerard, when I spoke to him earlier on, I said I was interviewing a celebrant and he just looked at me blankly, and that's how I felt when I first heard that you were a celebrant.
Yeah.
But let's accept that, you know, we now kind of realise what you do, but what's something that you kind of do that nobody would expect for you being a celebrant then? What's something about your job that you wouldn't think?
I think you wouldn't expect even conversations about somebody's funeral service wouldn't be full of fun and laughter.
Okay.
Even the conversations that I have with families when I go out to meet with them, there is still laughter, there is still, there's tears, obviously, but actually you come out feeling positive about the whole situation. And I had a lovely family that I met on Saturday, actually, to have a chat with them. I'm doing a service next week for their dad, and I sent them a message to say thanks very much for making me feel so welcome. It's obviously a difficult time, and they sent me a lovely message back just saying, you made it so much easier. It was really lovely to talk about in a positive way and share his stories and his information, and that's what I'm there for.
Well, you are, again, I'm genuinely not trying to be an advert for you here, but I keep going down that line. But there we go. You are genuinely one of the easiest people to talk to I've ever met in my entire life. So you work for me as well.
Yeah.
You're on the front door at Chippenham.
Yeah.
And we actually first met via Zoom because a variety of things I just couldn't get. And you were on the front door before I even met you in person. But I trusted you to the nth degree. And I trusted you within the first 5 seconds of seeing you on a Zoom call. You're that type of person where you just go, oh, I like her. So what is it about you that we like? And it's a really difficult question, I know.
Yeah, I can't answer that. I don't know.
Well, you're you, aren't you?
I am me, yes, absolutely. I'm a pea of my mother's pod.
That you are. And we all love your mother as well.
I think that's probably why you liked it.
No, I've met children of people as fathers or mothers I like, and the children I've been less fond of, so that's not a given. Now, let's say that somebody has got a scenario where they're living funeral, naming ceremony, wedding, whatever it may be, a normal funeral. Kind of what's the process from start to finish? How do they contact you? What's the website and all of that?
So I am Sarah Wheadon Celebrant. I know, a catchy title. It took me ages to come up with it.
.com.
Yeah, Sarah Wheadon Celebrant. .com, and in there you can find out more information about all of the services that I do, but generally the first thing would be a chat.
Okay.
It would be absolutely a conversation to find out if I am the right match for you, because with anything in life you need to make sure that you match with the right person for whatever celebration that you're going to do, and not everybody fits. So I would say let's have a chat, and then what we do is we start to scope out the wants and desires for that particular ceremony, and then I would start to pull out conversation and discussions to find out more about that person or the couple, and then I would go away and write the ceremony and then come back to the people and talk them through what it is we're going to do, and then we might have a practice if it's a wedding, might do a rehearsal. And then we go live on the day. Live.
And then post it. Do you just go, thanks a lot, bye?
No, I am I'm quite I really feel like people are my family when I'm doing this kind of thing. I mean, I know that some people might say that, but and it sounds really cheesy, you could probably grate me over your macaroni, but that is how I feel.
What a taste that would be.
It would be delish.
I'm imagining. Sorry, you carry on.
So I do keep in touch. I do, for all of the services that I do, I keep in touch with everybody just to see how things are going, particularly after funeral services and things like that, because it's a tough time for people. So I like to check in, just make sure that everybody's okay. And, I've actually now got quite a few friends that I've made through doing things like funerals, for example.
Not the ones that passed away.
No, but families of.
Just double checking that it's not a different conversation.
You really do connect with people really strongly and really quickly. I'm not laughing at you.
I shouldn't joke about that. I know I shouldn't. I just couldn't resist. Now, you mentioned earlier that it's not a legal ceremony that you are doing, but kind of what do you see the future of celebrancy being?
Well, there is the hope that the law will change and that there will be the opportunity for celebrants to be able to marry people legally. And effectively, that will mean that people can get married anywhere they like, any location, any time, any place, anywhere. A bit like, is that the Martini advert?
Sure. No idea. Any time, any place, anywhere.
I'm sure it is.
It is a strange thought, though, isn't it? That there's certain places that you can get married at. Like, why can we not just get married at the radio station, for instance, or in the centre of a football pitch? You've got lots of football fans who would love to get married somewhere like that. So it is kind of strange that a particular barn is okay to get married in, but a particular building is not. Yeah. It's kind of a bit weird, really.
It is interesting. And I'm sure there's legal reasons for that. But hopefully that will change in the future. I think people are becoming more and more particular about what they want for ceremonies. It's so bespoke now, people having the weddings that they actually want, or a ceremony that they actually want, that they don't want to be confined by that legality piece or location piece, because it's about being able to be married legally.
It's about them, isn't it?
It's about them,
absolutely. Back with Sarah very shortly.
Don't feel like picking up my phone, so leave a message at the tone. 'Cause today I swear I'm not doing anything, nothing at all. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo, nothing at all. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo, nothing at all.
There's the latest song, Bruno Mars. We've got an extra guest in the studio right now, but before we get to Charlotte... Morning, Charlotte, by the way.
Oh, hi, Richard.
Hello.
Morning, and Sarah. Not to be left out. Our very special guest.
A very special character guest. Elaine Moore has sent you a message, Sarah, just to let you know. She says, Sarah, I am listening in and you sound like you've been on the airwaves all of your life. Aww. Effortless conversation, which is a joy to listen to from one of the most personable, intuitive, emotionally intelligent people I know.
Oh my God.
Again, I'm just getting really fed up, everybody, of people being nice to Sarah.
No. I think you're nice, Richard. Except when you talk about age.
Yeah. Anyway, Charlotte, you said you had a question.
I do, yeah. I was listening on the way in and I found it really, really interesting and informative. And I think, obviously I'm transgender, changed my name by deed poll from Paul to Charlotte. Quite a difference. Some people said to me, why didn't you just make it Pauline? I was like, no, I can't stand it. No, sorry, Paulines out there. I prefer Charlotte. But, I thought the naming thing in terms of transition was really, really interesting. But one of the things that I'd never heard of, and I think Richard said the same, was living funerals. Yeah. And what I thought was interesting, it's obviously it's a celebration of someone's life, is that you said. And this is not a criticism, okay, because I think you're a very special person.
And a character.
It's not a criticism, and a character as well. Not normal, completely abnormal, but apparently. But you said it's when someone might have a terminal diagnosis and they want to be part of that celebration, which is great. It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Do you think there's a place for... Because at the end of the day, we're all dying eventually, aren't we? Yeah. At some stage in our lives, it's going to come to an end and the book's going to shut. Do you think that there is a place where we all actually have a living funeral, whether we've had a terminal diagnosis or not, where actually we meet everyone when you get, I don't know, over 60, hypothetically, where you get all your friends together, family, whatever, and you actually have a celebration of your life and look back over all the things that have happened during your lifetime. Do you think there's a place for that?
Yeah, absolutely. I use that as an example because that tends to be where everybody goes in terms of that living ceremony piece. But yeah, absolutely. If you feel like there is a time and a place for you to get everybody together to celebrate your life, but do it whilst you're there. The one thing that everybody says is, isn't it a shame that we wait to celebrate somebody when they're gone?
Yeah,
and actually
absolutely
don't tell them how amazing they are, or how brilliant they are, or how important they've been in your life.
How special they are.
Yeah.
I think the thing is that, in a way, and I think this is a sign of humility, is I think that a lot of us undervalue ourselves, and we're our biggest critics, probably rightly so as well. But I think it's, we all need a bit of lifting up at times, don't we? And, when people write to me, people, say to me, they do compliment me. And one of the words that comes out is inspiration, and a lot of that has to do because I've transitioned from male to female, but a lot's happened on the journey of my life from just over 2 years ago, I guess. But you want to hear that. It's a bit like people messaging in here to Richard. Sorry about this, Richard. Messaging in to Richard and saying about you as an individual, and Richard saying, really bubbly, and he would like you to do his living funeral, because he'd want to be there, without a doubt. He's not going to not be there, is he? Because he's a bit of a control freak as well. So and if he's not here, he's not going to be able to control it. And likewise, I would like you to. And I get everything that Richard said about you being a very friendly, jolly, happy, smiley, lovely person, and I've never met you till now.
No.
I've only listened to you for half an hour, 45 minutes, and I thought, oh yeah, she is. Yeah, I'd like you to come and do mine as well. So when I have my living funeral, hopefully without a terminal diagnosis, you can come and do it for me.
Well, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
All right.
Look at that. You've got 2 bookings. The downside, you've got to wait years for them.
Well, actually, mine, naturally speaking, mine's going to be before yours, because you just reminded me I'm 17 years ahead of you.
You never know.
Which was very cruel.
Charlotte, what you got coming up on your show today?
I have got Adam King of a band called Aliens Don't Ring Doorbells.
Oh.
Yeah, so all the 3 band members all live in Costa Blanca. Adam's also a radio presenter, and he has a radio program called Swing with the King. So he likes all the swing music, the Rat Pack bunch, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Stewart, all that sort of stuff. But we're going to talk about the band. They've supported some really, really top ranking artists over the years, and I love their music. Bit Coldplay, Tears for Fears, Pet Shop Boys, and he sounds a bit like Robbie Williams.
Are they rock chicks?
I would say they're probably middle road. I know you're a rock chick.
So for the benefit of the tape again, Sarah's holding up her 3 fingers once again.
Again, and I was trying to work that out when you were describing it while I was driving here. Anyway, I'm going to leave you alone now to finish your show and not intrude upon it again.
No, you're all good. We're going to play some music. Back with Sarah.
Nice to meet you, Sarah. Thanks, Richard. Take care. See you later.
Been here all morning with Sarah Wheadon. It's Richard Beauvoisin today, of course. If you have missed any of this, then you can catch up on the podcast, which type in Radio Bast, any podcast provider, and all of my shows over the last couple of years have been there, including Your Mum's podcast as well. We found out all about her history in Scotland and everything. It was lovely. It was really interesting listening to it. Now, just a few quick questions for you. First of all, can you remind everybody, what's the website in case they do want to book you? You've already got 2 bookings from today. You're going to have to wait a while.
Touched, I really am. Yes, that's fine though. So my website is sarahwhedoncelebrant.com. That's sarahwhedoncelebrant.com.
Okay, beautiful. Now, what is your most rewarding experience so far?
My most rewarding experience, I think it was the first funeral I did, because it was a friend and family, a friend of people that I've met whilst I was walking my dog.
Okay.
And we've become friends. We've got a little dog walking group.
Very quick shout out name of the dog, please.
And my dog is called Wallace.
Okay.
Middle name William.
Wallace William. Okay.
Yes. Nod to my heritage.
Good.
He is my life. He is my world.
And can you take our freedom, or?
He tries to take his freedom.
Does he?
Regularly.
Can you go back from the microphone a little bit and say, "You'll never take our freedom"?
You'll never take your freedom.
That's exactly how I sound with my Scottish accent. Please carry on.
So my most rewarding, I think, was that first funeral that I did for a friend and their dad, who had passed away, and it was an absolute privilege and a pleasure to do it. And the feedback from them was it was exactly what they wanted, and they took a punt on me in terms of I'd never done a funeral before. They said as soon as they knew I was going to be a celebrant, that they knew they wanted to use me, and they have been so supportive. Massive support. So
that's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, you've asked me to ask you one question, and I'm going to ask you this one question.
Okay.
It's proper radio. Here's your question for you, Sarah Wheadon, Celebrant.com. What's your most unique request you've had?
So my most unique request has been, again, I'm going to funeral service, but the family wanted a celebrant who was prepared to swear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please don't swear on radio.
I won't. I'm Scottish. It is in my blood. It's in my DNA. So I had no problem with that. And I thought to myself, I'm never going to get the opportunity to swear like a trooper in any service that I'm ever going to do ever again.
Okay.
So I took full advantage of it. I did send the script to the family and say to them, I might have gone a bit OTT.
Yeah.
Because the mum did like to swear a lot.
Right.
And they came back and said, no, it's perfect.
Was it the mum that had sadly passed away?
Yes, it was the mum that sadly passed away, yeah. So that was probably the most unique one. But the other opportunity I had as well was for a lovely family whose dad had passed away, and he was a huge horse racing fan.
Yeah.
And he wanted, they wanted something to do with the GGs at the service. So I got hold of a lovely chap who does voiceovers, and he did a voiceover for me. We're now at the Derby, we're at starters orders, and they're off.
Oh wow, okay.
And that's how we started the ceremony for him. So yeah. It's all about uniqueness.
It does. I mean, you are very special, as we've spoken about, and a character, and lovely. But it does sound like you're personalising everything you do to that individual experience, which, and I say, I've been to many funerals where it's pretty obvious the priest or whoever it may be, they're just a member of their congregation that may or may not have gone to church, and they don't know who they are from Adam. But it sounds like you really get into it and know who they are.
Yeah.
Now, if you had to do somebody, though, in regarding doing a service for them that you didn't know, i.e. a celebrity, who would you choose?
I mean, I want to say like Jason Momoa, but only because he's totally fit.
Okay, that's fine.
If I was doing
Who was Jason Momoa, by the way?
What?
Well, I probably recognise the looks, I'm sure.
Yeah. He is the fittest bloke on earth.
Okay, I need to have a look now.
Yeah, you do. He's Aquaman.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, it's like looking in the mirror for me personally. Is that what you're trying to say?
Oh, Richard.
Jason Momoa. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if I was doing his wedding ceremony, I'd probably just cry all the way through because it should have been me.
Yeah, I'm looking at him, and the long hair, the beard, the tash, the tanning, the muscles, it's very similar to me. Very similar.
Right.
There is a connection.
Is there?
Yeah, he's wearing clothes.
Well, that's a shame.
It's very close. Now, last little bit I'm going to do there. We're going to slightly tangent here. I'm loving the fact we can hear the front doorbell as well.
Oh, is that what that was?
That's what that noise is, yeah. I know.
They're wanting to come in to say hi.
I know. They've heard that they're literally queuing up out the door going, give me a service, Sarah. Now, we've spoken about the fact, just talking about it for a couple of minutes, about you being perimenopausal.
Yes.
And each year I have the lovely Annette come in and we have a menopause show. And it's something which I'm really keen for people to talk about as well. But kind of just for a couple of minutes, so what's your experience of being perimenopausal then?
Oh, man alive. It's been an absolute mare. I probably started, unbeknownst to me, in my early 40s.
And if I can ask how young you are now?
I am 50.
Okay.
Just turned 50 last year.
Congratulations.
Thank
It's
you.
a good age.
Thank you very much. I was very devastated when it happened because I did feel 50 in my head.
Yeah.
My body feels like it's 50, but
my body's falling apart left, right, and centre. Anyway, back to you. So so early 40s.
Early 40s, I probably started, and it was things like hot flushes, not being able to think straight because you had brain fog, palpitations, panic, just severe. And I worked in quite a fast-paced job where you needed to be able to think. Couldn't remember people's names. Like my best friend of over 30 years couldn't remember her first name.
Yeah.
I had
And
to go through my
just very quickly, what is her name?
Louise.
Love the fact you paused.
Because her name is actually, I call her Luby, but she's called Louise.
All right. I thought she's forgotten. But no, you haven't forgotten.
No, I haven't forgotten. Not today.
No.
Yeah, it was just awful. And I went to see the doctor first off, and I seriously thought I was suffering from some kind of illness unbeknownst to me. It was menopause, perimenopause. And I went through the process of, I don't want to do HRT. I want to try and work out ways in which I can solve this because HRT scares me a bit. But it got to the point where I was like, you know what, I can't. This is just depressing. It's depressing. It's hard work. I spent most of my time crying. Right. I am an emotional person normally, but that was just beyond. So I've been on HRT.
For how long?
Probably about 2 years now.
Okay.
And gosh, life is a lot better. But if anybody is going through that experience, I feel for you. I actually did set up a menopause support group in my last place that I worked because I felt so strongly about it. I would go into meetings and say, by the way, I'm perimenopausal, so if you see steam coming from the top of my head, just ignore it. That's just what's happening right now.
That's the stage of your life you are at.
Yeah.
If somebody did want to talk, could they still talk to you now about it? Would you
Absolutely, yeah, gosh.
And could they get in contact via your website?
They could,
what is the website, Sarah?
It's Sarah Wheadon, Celebrant.com.
Beautiful. We're going to be back with Sarah with a quick fire round very shortly.
Okie dokie.
She's back in the atmosphere with drops of Jupiter in her head. She acts like summer and walks like rain, reminds me that there's a time to change. Since the return of her stay on the moon, she listens like spring and she talks like June.
Love that track. There's Drops of Jupiter by Train, one of my favourite tracks ever. That would be in my Desert Island disc set, would Sarah?
It's a good song.
It's a lovely song, and yeah, I wish I could dance really well to it, but for whatever reason, it doesn't quite work.
Oh.
But I know. I'll be back. I'm currently injured, for those that aren't aware. I tore my calf muscle a couple of weeks ago playing football. People have said I should give up football. I ain't giving up football. Not for any love or money. Oh, there we go. I just
Give
need
up dancing instead.
I just need to come back from the injury properly. That's what I need to do.
Yes, you do.
Anyway, it's quick fire
take
time.
care.
Okay, so the principle of the quick fire round, there are 11 questions on here.
Okay.
Okay, they start off very easy, okay, and then they do get slightly deeper as we go further forwards into it. Okay, you don't have to give one word answers. You can develop it, see where we go from there. Okay, so are you ready? You have no knowledge of these questions, do
No,
you?
I don't.
Okay,
No.
so first one I did tell you earlier, though. What is your favourite ice cream?
So I am into every ice cream, really. In fact, actually, you're probably better to ask me which ice cream I didn't like.
Okay.
Which is chocolate.
Do you not like chocolate? Why not?
Don't know. I don't know. It's not a vibe. But my favourite is Mr. Whippy.
From the ice cream vans?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can only get it from ice cream vans,
Yes,
really?
you can. Manny's Ices parks outside my door whenever he comes round the
Right.
estate. Yeah,
Okay.
because I'm always out there getting
Have you
my
heard of
Mr.
the
Whippy.
terrible parenting thing that they do with ice cream vans?
No.
Oh, so bad parents, and I'm going to call them bad parents, and I include myself in this. They say that if you hear the ice cream van tone, then you've missed them. How cruel is that?
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, he's gone. That's what it means.
Wow.
But Mr. Whippy, I've never had Mr. Whippy before. Thank you for that.
You've not had Mr. Whippy?
No, I've not had Mr. Whippy as an answer. I've had Mr. Whippy many times.
Okay, I was going to say, God, is this another cake issue?
No, I really like Mr. Whippy, especially with some nuts over the top and a chocolate sauce.
I love a
and
wee
the cone.
flake in it.
Yeah, they're going to have the flake in it.
A
So, yeah.
99.
Yeah. And if you think about the profit margin on a Mr. Whippy, wow.
Mm-hmm.
What do they charge? £4 for a whole Mr. Whippy, which must cost at least 4p.
And I'm totally into the sort of waffle cone as well. So I go all out.
Yeah. If you're going to do it, do it.
Yeah, totes.
Anyway, moving on. Are you tidy or messy? Okay, I can see by the face that's a messy face.
No, not necessarily. I am probably tidier than my mum.
Right.
But I don't have a massive big issue about things. I'm like, you can what, at the point where it's annoying me, I'll tidy it.
Okay. We have the scenario in our house at the moment. We have lots of piles around everywhere.
And are they all going places?
Well, they're just kind of like sitting there, and you look and go, I need to sort that pile out. And I might try and do it later on if I've got a spare 2 minutes or so. Just go around and figure out the piles. I know what I'll actually do is I'll just put all the piles in one place.
Yeah.
So at least there's only one pile. Just be a massive pile from floor to ceiling. So you're kind of messy but tidy.
Yeah, I would say I was normal.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Love or hate roller coasters?
Hate.
That was a very quick answer. Why do you hate them, Sarah?
I get travel sickness.
Okay.
So the movement of things like that make me want to heave.
Have you ever tried taking travel sickness pills and going to a roller coaster
No,
park?
why would I want to do that?
That's what I do.
No.
Because I get really badly travel sick.
Why? What?
Because then I don't get travel sick, and then I actually enjoy the roller coasters.
Nah.
And I've got 3 teenage children that all love roller coasters.
Nah.
So
Sorry, not my vibe.
no, not for you. Fair enough.
That means one less person in the queue.
That is very true.
I'll hold the quotes.
Thank you for being that person. You are very special. Do you hang your toilet roll over the top or behind the back? You're deeply thinking now, aren't you? Does it hang over the top like a waterfall, or is it out the back like a hair?
I don't know.
Oh, think about your toilet roll.
I am trying.
Yeah.
I think it's over the back.
Over the back? You just don't care, do you, basically?
No.
You've never noticed whether it goes over the top
No,
or
I have
behind.
not.
So if I came round to your house, just to let you know, and it was round the back, I would be flipping it round to the front. And I would not apologise about it.
Well, as it appears, it wouldn't bother me because I
No.
didn't pay any attention.
Yeah.
Why? What's the difference between it being at the back and at the front?
So the difference is, there is a patent out there, okay, which means that it should be over the front. That is the official correct way of doing it. But the main reason being is that your hands, when you are reaching for the toilet roll, are not necessarily the cleanest things in the world.
Yeah.
And therefore, when you reach the toilet roll, if it's next to the wall, quite a bit of bits go onto the wall. And therefore, you then take the toilet roll, do whatever. You wash your hands afterwards, but there's loads of bits, I'll leave it at that, on the wall. Are you now going to go home and change your toilet roll?
Blimmin' am.
Right. Do you eat your chocolate from the fridge or from the cupboard?
Frigo every time.
You're a fridge person?
Yes.
I'm guessing that frigo is fridge.
Yes.
Okay. We haven't even gone down the Scottish words for English words moment, have we?
That's no a Scottish word.
What's frigo then?
Isn't frigo?
I've never heard that word. I've not lived, obviously. I'm not special enough.
Well, I don't know who it is, but some foreigners call it frigo.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay. Some
Is it
people.
Spanish?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's a frigo anyway, in the fridge.
In the fridge. Why in the fridge then?
I love it when I love a cup of tea or a coffee with my chocolate. So I like to break it out cold, let it melt on my tongue, sip of coffee.
I'm with you. I'm a fridge person. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, a few weeks ago, we had Ben Buttigieg coming in to do podcast all about coffee again. If you want to find out about that, it was fascinating.
I listened.
I thought he was brilliant. What type of coffee are you drinking then?
So unfortunately, I'm a decaffer.
That's okay. It's nothing wrong with being decaf. He said that was the highest form of coffee drinkers.
Yes, I'm a decaffer. I did agree with him when he said that, actually, because of the whole perimenopausal symptoms and stuff like that. Caffeine has a big impact on sweats and things like that. Yeah. So I try and eliminate that as much as possible. But I am a Lidl's decaf own make coffee girl.
Okay. Now I was
with oat milk.
I was sent a message by Pete, who's a good friend of Ben's, and he sent me a brilliant message, which next week I'm going to try and play.
Right.
And so I have to remind myself to do this. But it was basically saying that there's a massive queue outside of Sainsbury's. They've listened to the show, and everyone's drinking Sainsbury's decaf coffee. Are we now going to get the same scenario outside of Lidl's? They're going to do the same thing.
It's really nice. It's really smooth.
Is it? I'm guessing their normal one would be similar as well.
Well, probably, yeah, but
okay.
I can't drink it.
I'll have a look at that. Right. Do you make your bed in the morning?
Yes.
Why do you make your bed in the morning?
Because Wallace, my dog, is always the first on the bed. So if the bed isn't made and you try and get in it, you've got a battle on your hands with trying to get the duvet and everything over to the right side.
Yeah. And how do you feel about the dog hairs? Because we had our cat sleeping on the actual... Because I pulled the duvet back and we had the cat hairs and I had to change the sheets. I just couldn't do it.
Listen, I've had Wallace for 3.5 years. I've got all sorts of hair everywhere.
Well, that's a phrase for you.
Probably too much information. No, it doesn't bother me.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
now, I'm going to make a gender statement here, which I very rarely do. Okay, but you are a woman. I'm making the statement. I know. Apart from the pillows that are on your bed, are there any other cushions?
No.
No. Wow. Because this is definitely a man-woman thing in the norm, is that men would have a pillow on their bed. Women, in the main, that I've worked out doing the show for a number of years, have extra cushions. We have 6 cushions on our bed.
Oh, no, what a faff.
Every morning, take them off every morning.
How many pillows do you sleep with?
1.
Okay.
1 good pillow.
I have 4 pillows on my bed.
Yeah.
But nothing else.
But nothing else.
But no, because you just have to take them off and put them somewhere.
I know that.
And then put them back on. What? I've got more to do with my time than that.
What is your favourite breakfast?
My favourite breakfast?
Yeah, if you could choose any breakfast.
It would probably be I was going to say fry up, but it's not a fry up these days. But, like the bacon, the sausage, the egg, black pudding.
All good. Lovely.
Beans, toast.
Go-to karaoke song?
The one that you played earlier for the 4 Non-Blondes.
What's Up?
Yeah.
Is that what we played?
Yeah.
Yeah, great song. And how did it go again?
No.
Can you sing it for me?
No.
It was What's Up. You're not going to sing it for me, are you? No. But if you had to do it, that would be your choice.
If it was on, I could do it, but I'm totally tone deaf when it comes to singing it without the music.
Okay.
Don't play the music, though.
No, that's okay. I'm not going to. We're running out of time. Charlotte's on in 4 minutes.
No, I don't want to finish.
I know. Favourite TV programme or film?
Ooh. Favourite TV programme? I love a sci-fi type thing.
Okay.
I did actually once. Did you ever hear of Firefly?
No.
It was like a sci-fi thing. I actually bought a car because it was called a Firefly.
Okay.
Yeah, how sad is that?
Good car?
It was a Ford Fiesta.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it did all right, but did I really need to buy one that was called Firefly? No.
There you go. Deep questions now.
Okay.
If you came back in your next life as an animal, which one would you be and why?
No question, it would be my dog.
It'd be your dog.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I'd find better places to sleep other than on the hard floor under my feet.
But your dog, again, name check for the dog.
Wallace
William.
Wheadon. He's WWW dog.
Okay. And your last question, Sarah Wheadon, Celebrant.
Yes.
Where is your happy place?
happy place.
Yeah.
I think that would have to be by a beach.
Okay.
Absolutely love a beach.
Lovely.
Yeah, find it very relaxing. Or the woods.
So somewhere outside, basically.
Yeah, I think
Sounds
so.
amazing.
Scotland is obviously, it always feels like home.
Yeah.
Mainly because everybody talks like me. I don't have to enunciate things properly.
No.
But yeah, the woods or the beach, and that's because Wallace just loves both. So
Brilliant. And remind us of your website, Sarah.
my website is sarahwheadon.celebrant.com.
Thank you so much for coming in today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've had a blast.
Absolutely loved it. It's been amazing. Thank you.
And I'll see you again next week.
Thank you.
I'm back next Thursday. It's all about the environment next Thursday. Looking forward to that. Charlotte's up next.